Alright, so today I'm with GaRpY, a veteran Arena FPS player who now plays on the Blackout team of Myztro Gaming. So, how you doing, man?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I hope everything's alright your end.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing great as well. Alright, so for my first question, the one I usually start with, is regarding your name. So where does that come from, GaRpY?
Oh, man. I hate it when people ask me this. Because I haven't got a clue. Well, I have got a clue, but I don't know if it makes sense. I used to, when I played Half-Life Original, my first name was Venom. I love Spider-Man. So when I was younger, yeah, I used to be called Venom, and my brothers used to take the mick out of me. So there's like, you can't use that name. Everyone uses it. It's you gotta have something unique. So I don't know where we came up with it. One of my other mates, who like real life mates, he used to call me like he used to call me GaRpY for some reason. I haven't got a clue why. So I just changed my name to that. It's just stuck from then. It's like there's no real story about it. It's just like, yeah, you can't use that name. We've got to think of something else. Oh, that'll do. We'll use that one. So I've always just had GaRpY from then.
So now, regarding your origin as a gamer, so from what I've seen, the first game that you became really good at and became quite famous at was Half-Life Deathmatch, right?
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
I was gonna say maybe. Okay, yeah. Okay, I was good at Half-Life, but people only started recognizing me when I got on to probably playing Painkiller.
Mm-hmm.
So when I joined the tour on there, which towards the end, everyone was then like, "Where's this guy from?" And that's when all the Half-Life stuff started coming up, because like we've never seen him before. He's not played Quake. He's not come from this. Where's he from? And then people was like, oh, he's used to be really, really good at Half-Life. This is his movies, or these are demos of him playing it. So yeah, Half-Life's probably the first game I was really good at. But I think I got known from actually joining the pro circuit on the CPL tour on Painkiller.
So, just regarding Half-Life, it wasn't that famous as an esport, never really took off. But it seemed like to have a pretty good following. A lot of people really appreciated playing this game. So, how would you basically explain the fact that Half-Life didn't go that well on the esports side of things compared to other games?
I'm not too sure, because Half-Life itself, the community that played was quite. Me and Aaron, this Aaron knows hell, my teammate. He always bugs me because he's like, "Oh, you used to be good at a game that no one played." I'm like, mate, the community used to be massive. We used to have like, it's like Sunday leagues. Like every Sunday there was matches, and you had like the Premiership. You had Division 1 to like Division 15, and you had 7 teams in each division, and must have been like 10 players in each division, plus everyone else that was playing. So it was quite, the community was quite big in a way. Probably not big. I only ever played Half-Life. I never played anything else from when I was about, I think I was 11 till up to about 17. I played CS when that came out originally, like the very first CS. I used to play all the mods off Half-Life. So I didn't really know. I was like in a little bubble. I didn't know about like the pro scene on Quake or anything else really. So I don't know why it didn't really take off. It would have been fantastic if it did. They had a few like in-house competitions for money, but I think as well it was, what can I say? I don't know why would it not taken off. I don't know. I just don't think it ever had the support that Quake had along the way. I just played it for fun. It was great, and yeah, it would have been great if it went into a pro scene, because I think the skill that to master that game, I remember talking to Fatality once, and he tried Half-Life, and he was talking to me about it, and he says, "Gareth, I tried to play." He said, "I'm a dedicated player." He's like, you know, Fatality, if he's on something, he just plays it all the time. And he says the one game he's played, and he says, I knew I couldn't play it for a month and dominate it. He says, there's that much to learn. He says, so he just went to another game. Right. But he said, I had a lot of fun playing it. It was really in-depth with the how to master it and everything you could possibly do in it. Maybe that might be a reason that it never took off, because again, it was same as most FPS arena games, it's not very beginner friendly. But the game itself was amazing. I loved it to bits.
So, what was it like? Because, for example, it was centered around duel, right? Or was it another game mode that was mainly played?
Yeah, I think our majority played duel, but it was basically duel and TDM,
Okay.
4v4. But we played everything. It was just that much fun. They had mods in there which was called Arena. So it was like winner stays on duel. So you both spawn with full health, and you just fight each other. And everyone in the server just waits. And then if you win, you stay there, and then the next person in the queue joined, and then the other person went to the back of the queue. So we played that a lot. Then you just had loads of mods, and then you could play. I can't remember what there was. Basically the same kind of thing, but teams. So you have it would be like Clan Arena, I suppose. You got everyone spawning with the health. Last team to survive, that wins, and then you start again. And then there was insta-give, there was this. But you could just vote it in the server. You just go, guys, you want to play this? Okay, AG vote insta-give, and you just used to play. You get what I mean? You just played anything. It was fantastic. There wasn't anything that was set, but all the leagues were TDM. There was never any like I don't think there even was capture the flag or anything like that in Half-Life. It was basically team deathmatch and duels, and duels are actually 20 minutes long.
20 minutes, wow.
20 long. When I think about it now, I play 10 minutes. Well, when I played Quake live, it was like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, this is short. I played years at 20 minutes. I was like, and then I look back, I was like, how did I concentrate for 20 minutes at a time? And I used to sit there for hours just playing duel after duel after duel. So, but yeah, the two main modes were duel and TDM.
All right. So, like, what was the gameplay like regarding the weapons, for example, for Half-Life TDM, or Half-Life Deathmatch?
What do you mean, like the different weapons and what they did, or
like for example, because it's not like classic arena FPS in a way. It's like it's still Half-Life. So I'm quite curious, like, how does it compare to Quake, for example?
I think a lot of the things are the same. It's like you got the crossbow, which I'd probably compare to the railgun. So when you zoomed in, it was like instant. It wasn't a delay for the bolt to get there. It was just instant. So it's like a railgun. You had the rocket launcher, but then you had the red dot, so you could guide it. The rocket launcher around the map. You got like the machine gun, which is the MP5 or the heavy machine gun in Quake Champions. The only weapons that are a lot different is like the Tor gun or the Gauss gun. That's the one that shot through walls. It was like a rocket jump, but you took no damage, so you could shoot it and it propel you across the map. The only thing you have to watch about that, sometimes it would reflect off certain surfaces and hit yourself, so it could just instantly kill you now and then. So you have to be careful what surfaces you were shooting it off. And then you had like satchels. That you basically could drop down and detonate them, and then you got like if you ever played the single player in a Half-Life, you had like the aliens. So you got like the bug gun, which you used to shoot that. It's like little bugs that come out, and if they're anywhere near you, they just follow you till they hit you. But no one ever used that. And you had like little what's it called, snarks, like little like predators that you drop down on the floor and they go running around and stuff, and they'd like die after a bit. So there was little things in there, but the majority of the weapons was like the MP5, the crossbow, the rocket launcher, the shotgun, the Tor gun was probably the most important. But just what made the game, I thought, feel like different to every other FPS that I've played is that, like I say, that the in-depth bit with shooting through the walls and little corners you could shoot through, and the long jump as well. You had a backpack that you picked up that was called the long jump module, which allowed you to jump a lot further. So you'd jump with that, and then you could bunny hop to keep the speed up. So a bit like the CPMA movement in Quake. So yeah, it was just that was the guns. I think in most arena FPSs, the guns are all pretty much the same, but you have then the ones that stand out for each game, if you get what I mean, that make that game just a bit different to every other game.
So now, as you said, you were playing a lot of Half-Life Deathmatch. So you were in this community of the modding community of Half-Life, and so around this time was a time where Counter-Strike was starting to appear and become, well, quite big, especially on the esports side of things. But you didn't, from what I've seen, didn't really decide to go inside Counter-Strike as an esports and preferred staying around arena FPSs. So how did that decision come to you of not going into Counter-Strike and staying with arena FPSs?
Okay, this for me, I'll explain how Half-Life. Basically, when I played Half-Life, I was young. I never read any forums. I never read anything. Basically, I'd get on and just play games. But I didn't know anything outside of Half-Life. I used to download Counter-Strike and I used to just play it on a weekend. I didn't read anything up. I didn't care about reading. I just wanted to play. So I was like in my own little bubble, and I just played because I loved playing the game. So my eldest brother, he used to go on like forums and stuff with the Half-Life community and go like, you should really read them because they always talk about you and stuff like that. And I'm like, I just wasn't interested. I just wanted to play. So when Counter-Strike got big, I didn't even know. I literally, the way I got into or knowing things outside, as in like a pro scene, was when I met Zachabus. And he was playing for Four Kings at the time, and he then said, "Oh, Painkiller." I started playing Painkiller then, and he was like, "Oh, you should come and do this." And I was like, "What's that? What's this?" And then he was explaining everything to me. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then people in Half-Life said, "You should go pro, GaRpY. You should go pro. You're really good. You should go and try." And it was like a little dream that I was like, "Yeah, it's never going to happen." You get what I mean? I'm just playing this for fun. I could never dream of traveling the world and playing computer games and competing against the best players in the world. That's ridiculous. That only happens for certain people. That's how I thought. So for me, not getting into Counter-Strike, I did used to play all the time, and I used to play. I didn't realize I did used to play against some of the top players but I never played leagues, or I just played in public servers. But like I say, I was in my own little bubble. I didn't know what was going on outside of that bubble. That's why I probably never went and ventured off into anything else.
Yeah. So now with Painkiller going into this game, so a game that this time had a very strong esports side of things with the CPL tour, some really good cash prize, a lot of great players, like we had Fatality, Vu being the most famous players from this game. So what was it like going from this game of Half-Life Deathmatch, which had a rather niche esport aspect, to a game with like a full-blown competitive scene? What was that for you?
An eye-opener. It was amazing, to be fair. I know it was like at the start, I would say like the start of esports, like getting bigger and bigger and bigger, if you get what I mean. So being a part of it was competing against, like you say, Vu. I remember playing Vu. I think it was my first stop. He absolutely destroyed me. I think I might have killed him twice, but yeah. But going in there, it was. I felt it was like a challenge to me because I was so good at Half-Life, and then I was like, okay, these guys are amazing, but I want to beat them. So I'd set a target. Okay, I want to beat this guy. So I set it a bit lower, and then I just kept practicing. But it was just the buzz I got from competing and being on stage or being in a different country playing. It was just amazing feeling. Just being able to compete and feel like I'm going somewhere. Like, okay, maybe I can make this dream come true. But back then there was a lot of pressure. Don't get me wrong, I was a lot younger then. I didn't have a job. And I was thinking I need to win, because back then you didn't get paid. You struggled to. I remember going to spots and I didn't even have a hotel booked. I literally booked my flight, and I'd go, where am I going to stop? I've got no money. I got no. You get what I mean? And luckily, like I say, Zachabus, he looked after me big style in the Painkiller tour. Because he'd be like, you can stop in my room, GaRpY. You can come and sleep. Like with me and the manager, you can bunk up here, and we'd be going around. And now I think of how it was back then. to how it is now is, it's like worlds apart. It's like I say, it was nice to be part of how esports, well, I'd say the start of esports was, to how it's improved and how it's come on over the years. It's just unbelievable.
So now with Painkillers, from what I've seen, you've finished 13th of the CPL final, which is an alright performance. You managed to get in the money. I think you got like £3,000 or that, something like this.
I think it was 3,750.
Yeah. Like, so almost almost four quids there.
You know what's funny about that? It's the most I've ever won. Not now, but it was. I had that. As soon as it got put into my bank, I went and printed I've still got the receipt of that going into my bank, and I'm like, oh man, that's amazing. But yeah, I at them finals, I beat. I think I beat. It was the best I ever played, because I think I was finishing like top 16, and I beat Stellam, who had won one of the stops. So I was like, whoa, I could go on. You know how you think, I could go on and win this now. I could do it. Yeah, it didn't happen though. But yeah, I was. It was. I finished top 13, so I was actually really happy with. Teams I joined so late. Like I say, I joined towards the end of the tour. I hadn't been playing Painkiller half, probably not even a scratch of, as long as most of the players on that tour. So to achieve that, I was pretty happy, to be fair.
So now, unfortunately, after this CPL World Tour, Painkiller Esports sort of died, and so did the game. So do you think you would have continued competing in this game if, well, such tours would have continued the years coming after?
Yeah, I think so. I think most people, a lot of people moaned about Painkiller, but when it was gone, I was like, oh man, we miss it. Even watching it was pretty good. Like, a lot of viewers that didn't actually play Painkiller really enjoyed watching it. Just the fast pace and that. But literally, the problem was you only had, like I said back then, sponsors didn't really. You had a few sponsors that supported to actually pay for people to go about. But back then you didn't have as many teams doing that. So and the tournament itself was, okay, you got these stops, you make your own way there. It seemed like they paid for you and looked after you. So if the competitions are carried on, I think the players would have still carried on, but it would have been the same, because you only had, like, I think 24 to 32 players. It was the same 32 players that turned up to every tournament. So outside of that, it was pretty much dead. So as soon as the competition stopped, the top 32 players that used to go to events just moved on to other things, because it's like, well, what's the point in playing this? You know what I mean? There's no support for it now. There's no competitions in it now. Like I say, it would have been nice to carry it on, and maybe try to make it grow a bit. But again, with an arena FPS, and that's the problem that most people have now, is beginners jumping into it. You got the top 32 players, and if anyone, and it was literally only them that played it. I think they might have had a few outside it. You might have had like 100 players in total playing the game. So if you had anyone new coming to it, it was like, geez, I'm getting smashed. I don't want to play this. And it was that fast pace. You had no chance. It was like spawn dead, spawn dead, spawn dead. It's like, this ain't fun. So again, you got that problem trying to grow the community and get newer players, the fresh blood into it. I just don't think it was ever going to happen. It was just way too fast paced and so little players there, and the players that did play it were just amazing at the game, so it's hard to get into it.
I see. So regarding the gameplay of Painkiller, like, how did you think of the game generally speaking, and did you sometimes like get this feeling like when getting destroyed on Painkiller, just thinking, oh man, like back on Half-Life I'd have destroyed this guy, and it's like comparing the two, like, which game did you prefer, and generally speaking, what did you think of Painkiller?
I can never go against Half-Life, mate. I played it for 7 years. I love the game. So in my eyes, that's the best game that's ever been made up till now. But what's funny though, I went back and played about 2 years ago, and I was playing it, and I was like, oh my god. I'm really bad at the game now. I'm like, yes, really bad. But the hit reg, the the actual game smoothness is not bad, but the hit reg and bits like that, I was like, Jesus, how did I not rage? I used to love this game. It's like I was shooting things are going through this, and then I think about nowadays. That's what makes me laugh when people are moaning about netcode now, and I'm like, this netcode is amazing. If you played back then and played with that, you wouldn't be moaning now with how the things are now. Yeah, getting sidetracked between Painkiller and a Half-Life. I love Painkiller. To be fair, it's probably the speed of it was great because Half-Life was as quick, so it wasn't like. So I loved the speed, and it was simple. It was simple but high skill cap, if you get what I mean. So again, I can't go against Half-Life, so I enjoyed that the most. But Painkiller was definitely a close second, and I really did enjoy it. And like you say, the amount of times I've played and the guy's been destroying me, and I think I've had arguments like they're like arguing with me, going, "Hey, you're rubbish" and all this, and I'll be like, "Come and play Half-Life. I'll show you how rubbish I am, you kid." So yeah, it's always the way. I've argued through Quakes as well, and all that players are like, "I'll smash you. I'll smash you. It'd be beating me on this. Come play Half-Life. See how good you are there." but yeah, it was a great game. The movement, the speed, and when I would say when I first started playing it, I was always on that other end of constantly getting beat. Like, it was hard work. But when you actually turn it around and then you start doing it, it's like, oh, this feels great. Now I know how they felt when they was playing me. But you could see your progression through it though. So when I first started playing, I couldn't even do that. And I always set myself little challenges to get better. I would never give up. I was always, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna beat you. You get what I mean? I just set that bar a little bit higher. Once I got there, I'll set it a bit higher, and I'll keep going and keep going and keep going. So yeah, it was just great. I just wish I started playing from the start of the tour to see how good I could have got towards the end.
So now, after Painkiller died down, you started playing other games. So I think you've played a bunch of Quake 4, right? I saw you competing in some tournaments. I saw the results. So how was that for you? Or
Quake 4, yeah. Quake 4 was actually my first Quake. I never played any other Quake. I'll lie. Actually, I'll tell a lie. My brother used to have Quake 2 on his PC before I even had a PC. So I played Quake 2 on his PC. We used to play on LAN, which was quite interesting. It's quite good, great fun. But yeah, Quake 4 was basically what I went to after Painkiller. So yeah, that I enjoyed. To be fair, Quake 4 was one of my favourite Quakes. Again, other than Quake. To be fair, of all the Quakes, Quake Live, Quake 3, Quake Champions, Quake 4, I really enjoyed Quake 4 because I always felt that all the Quakes were the same, just reskinned. You get what I mean? Where Quake 4 was not completely different. You still had the same weaponry, but the crouch sliding, the maps, how quick the game was. It just the crouch sliding for me. It just added that somewhat different to the game that made it unique. And if you could really get good at that different part of the game, you could really be good. So yeah, going to Quake again was a challenge, but I used to love it. That's where I played that many different games, and every game I went to, I used to go, who's the best player in this game? And I was like, okay, he's the best. Okay, I'm coming for you. And I just set myself again challenges. I just keep, there's the bar. I'm going to keep going, keep grinding, keep trying to get better. So yeah, so going to Quake, it was good. I really enjoyed it. Quake 4 was good fun.
So unfortunately, you didn't succeed as much as other players. I mean, you managed to get into prize pool a bunch of times, but I feel like you were never in in the top 3, top 5, and everything. So yeah. What do you think? What was the cause of this? Of you getting decent results, but maybe not as good as you would have wanted?
Again, I think going to Quake 4, and I think it's only recently. I I think when I was playing Quake 4, I was actually started running my business. So I've never had, and I think I've spoken about this before, any like can concentrate as much as other players can say, that they can just sit there constantly grind, blah blah blah, constantly play. I'll be at work, then I'd come back and then I'd start playing, and I've never had that dedicated time that I didn't have to worry about this, didn't have to worry about that, and I think that I was always there as well, and I had a lot of self doubt. I always believed I was good, but when I came up against a really good player, I was like, I can't beat this guy. He's a legend. I can't. So if I was playing against Toxic, I was like, Jesus, this guy, I'm never going to beat him, but I'll try my best. But I'd always, this was the thing, I'd have close games with certain good players or give them a really good game, but I'd always lose by a few frags. I was never the one that, I think once, if I ever took the lead, it would be like, what's happening here? Jesus, this shouldn't be happening. And then I'll just go to pot. It's like, yeah, then they get control of it. Oh, I don't want to lose this. And then you completely change your game style and everything changes. I think, like I say, I think a lot of it's just mentally being prepared and actually believing you can beat these guys, and that they're not like immortal. They can't be beaten. And I think only recently, after having some good results in Quake Champions, that I've actually started to believe that I can actually perform with the best in the game.
So now, after Quake 4, I saw that you competed and actually won a Quake 3 tournament in 2009, the EPS United Kingdom 2, from what I saw. So what's the story behind this? Because it's quite impressive, because as you said, Quake 4 was the first Quake that you really competed in, and in 2009, Quake 3 was actually 10 years old, so we had like it had its players, and you actually managed to win this tournament. So what's the story behind this?
That's interesting. That is, but basically, EPS was a £1,000, I think, first place prize, and so I went and played from Quake 4. I went and played EPS, and again, Aaron Hell. He took me under his wing because he was in Dignitas at the time, same as I was in Dignitas, and he goes, "I'll teach you how to play Quake 3." He says, because you're going to be playing against people that have been playing like 8 years. So literally me and him just constantly dueled. So I was just learning. So I had I think it was like 3 weeks, and I had to qualify for the finals. So me and Aaron were playing, and he was like, "Oh, you'll love this map, Gareth. You'll love this map." What was it? Lost World. He goes, "This map suits you down to the ground." And we started playing it. I was like, "Man, I hate this map. It's awful." Then by the end of it, I was like, "Oh man, this is my favourite map." And ZTN, I hated it. I got a nice story about ZTN. And Aaron, when he watches this back, he'll go, "I know what he's going to say." Me and Aaron must have played. I hated ZTN. I've hated it in every Quake there's ever been. Just I can't stand it. So me and Aaron must have played at least 70 times on ZTN in practice. Every time he destroyed me, absolutely destroyed me. I'd never even come close to him. And I used to rage, going, "I can't stand this map. It's just yeah. So when we got to the finals, it was me and him in the final. He goes, "What map do you want?" I said, "I'll pick ZTM, mate." And he's laughing at me. He goes, "You've never beaten me on it in your life." He said, "Why you pick?" He goes, "I'm gonna beat you on it now, mate." And the funny thing was, I absolutely destroyed him on it. But he got so frustrated because he was like, "He's never beat me on this map. We've played it 70 times. What's happening?" So I just got a lead, and he just kept running at me. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm broke, mate. I've got you. This is really annoying me." So he still talks to me about that. He said, "I can't believe you." He said, "I just can't believe you picked that map. It just so messed me up so bad." But yeah, going back again, I just literally, he told me who the best players was. He was pretty much, I think he was the most dominant UK Quaker, from what I heard. So playing with him all the time, I just again, so set the bar. I just need to learn this. again, Quake's Quake. I think once you can play one Quake, especially with the Quake 3, Quake Live, they're pretty much the same games. So it was just learning the maps, learning how people played, learning how to move. So I just again just set my bar there, just keep grinding at it. Because I know when I was trying to qualify for that tournament, I had to go to London to play DDK, and I know DDK, he was hardcore Quake 3 player for, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years, or whatever. And I played him, and he actually beat me in the qualifying stages. Because I think I actually finished 4th. I think top 4 qualified, and I finished 4th or 3rd. Where I just thought, I hope I get you in the final. Not in the final, but when we get to the finals, I really wanted to play DDK again, because I was like, okay, you've beat me, now I want to beat you. So I did. I had him in the first round. I beat him, and then Aaron had Chronic. Aaron beat Chronic. Then it was basically me and him in the final, which was great because he was my teammate at the time. So it couldn't have worked out any better. So having the 2 teammates in the final was great. I don't think he expected to lose, but yeah, the manager came up to me because he was there, and he did say, he said, "I can't believe you actually won that, Gareth. You've only played it for a month. Yeah." So
skill.
It was good.
All right. So after Quake 3, you played a bit of Quake Live, and you were actually quite famous in this game. Like, I remember seeing your name in a bunch of frag movies here and there. So I guess the transition from Quake 3 to Quake Live was alright, since you, well, had some really good results in Quake 3 and showed some really good potential. So how was that game for you going into Quake Live, this new rebrand of Quake 3?
To be fair, I played Quake Live before Quake 3. I went Quake 4, Quake Live, then I went to Quake 3, going back to Quake Live. So, like I said, it was pretty much the same game, just that the LG in Quake 3 was stupidly powerful. To me, it's like you caught someone and you died instantly. But yeah, Quake Live was great. I just loved the smoothness of it. The net code was amazing. Yeah, it was pretty easy to go from one to the other. But again, I was probably more well known for in Quake Live, but I didn't really do much in Quake Live. Again, I had that thing where I said to you earlier, where I'd be playing against top players, I'd give them good games, but always just fall short. But I was always up there challenging and that. But yeah, the 2 games are pretty much similar. And I enjoyed Quake Live was great. I enjoyed that as well.
So after Quake Live, Shootmania, where you've played with NVC and some other Quakers. So Shootmania, I feel like there was a lot of hype around it, especially around in the Arena FPS community, because it has a lot of elements similar to Quake with the railgun, the rocket launcher. So, yeah. But the fact it's mostly on a team game mode aspect. So tell me about your story with Shootmania. Like, were you instantly like hyped about the game? Was it the cash prize that made you play the game, or did you just like really enjoy it? Because then going back, a lot of people, a lot of Quakers who have played Shootmania like kind of shit talked this game about being actually like pretty bad. So like, what did you think of the game?
Oh, the game itself, I thought was. Well, the first reason I went to Shootmania was because the money. I used to, because I was playing professionally, I used to go wherever the money was. But Shootmania itself, I thought it was a very simple game, but a very enjoyable game. I really enjoyed Shootmania. I just thought how the format, how like the format worked in like competition wise. I just thought it was great because you'd have 3 defenders, 1 attacking, and then you turn it around. So you've got to decide, okay, who's best on this map attacking. So we'll send him up first. So what we used to do, we used to have a little chart. So when we was practicing, we were like, this map, okay, who won the most attacking rounds? Okay, Gareth won 2, Frantic won 1. And then we'd take this to tournament. So we were like, okay, what map? This map. Okay, you got the most attack. You go first, you go second, you go third. But when you're sitting there and you know all your teammates are watching you attack, and it's just a buzz about it, if you get what I mean. It's like, oh, I can do this. I'm all on my own. I can shine here. But and you're running around with a railgun like a little nutter, and they're just spamming rockets, and it's just the adrenaline rush, especially when the timer come down and you could get on the point and you jump. I really, to be fair, it got slated, but again, the game. This is where I'm gonna say bad things about Quake. Well, Quake community is if it's not Quake, it's not accepted. You get what I mean? If it's not Quake, it's bad. So I know Shootmania was massive in France.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think majority of players were in France.
I just think the developers are French, so that's why.
It's a shame because I really enjoyed the game. I think it was pushed a lot in France, but not so much in other countries. And I think if they'd done the same, it would still be going. I know there's still a community playing it now, I think, because I see things popping up on my phone. This tournament's going on, that tournament's going on. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I think I played it. I think it was 2 years I played Shootmania. It was like in the pro scene for at least 2-3 years, I think, something like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I did.
So after Shootmania, now the game where I actually got to know you for, so Quake Champions, of course, where you had like some really good results. So you got second at DreamHack Denver, and you actually managed to win the ESWC 2017, where you've managed to beat some great players like Sparty, Razy. I think the strength of the tournament, so like a pretty good European tournament that you actually managed to win. So yeah, tell me a bit about your experience with Quake Champions, like getting into this game with the different game modes and everything. Like,
I love when Quake Champions come out, and it was a lot different with the abilities. I actually loved it, and I know again, a lot of the Quakers was moaning about the abilities. This is stupid. Again, it's not Quake Live. It's not Quake 3. Oh, it's crap. That's all I ever see, and I love it because I thought when they put abilities in there, it put another twist on the game that you had to. It wasn't all about aim. It wasn't all about like control. It was all about like your positioning and your combat skills and how you use those abilities. So it started to show who could adapt to get like the game to get to the top, basically. So if you could adapt and change your style, and you're not setting this aim control style, because if you did that, a clutch could come in with a shield. It don't matter if you got full health or whatever. It could come in and just destroy you, and then that would frustrate people. But then you need to know how to play against it. It's like, yeah, well, don't go for the armor. You know, he's gonna come for you. You get what I mean? So yeah, it just started to show who could adapt to the game the best would be at the top. So I really enjoyed Quake Champions when it first, like when it came up till now. It's just been one of my favorite Quakes. Again, with Quake Champions, I was in a lot better place with work, so I could actually step away from work and the work could carry on without me. I just have to pop, so I could actually concentrate fully on Quake. I'd say the start of last year or whenever, when Quake first started. It's been a bit different the last few months, but yeah, so I really enjoyed it. And again, I think coming second at Denver and then first at ESWC, the thing I spoke about earlier about having that mind block about being able to beat the best players, and the help I had from my manager, because he believes in me 110%. He says, when you're on it, Gareth, no one can beat you. You get what I mean? You just got to believe in yourself. And he says, when you play, I can see that. I can tell if you're going to win or not, because I can tell if you believe. It's how you play, your positive play to how you don't play. It's when you can get past that mind block of who you're actually playing. It would be better for me if I could play, people didn't tell me who I was playing, just blank the name out, just put them in the server, and then I'll play my game. But it's just mentally you change, because you think, geez, this guy's really good, I'm not going to be able to get away with this, and then you start playing more passive, or you start doing things that you don't normally do. So once I felt I got past that, and like I say, my manager helped me out a lot with that, and once I got past that, I think that's when I started getting the better results, and I actually started to believe that I could do really well in the game.
So what has helped you, apart from the help of your manager, like from yourself, or were there some like specific elements, like a certain train of thought that has helped you getting past this mental block?
I don't know. To get past it, like I say, I just think having the decent result, and I think just being able to practice and more, and being, I think I may have used it as an excuse before, you know, like I said, with work, and I've got other things on in my going on in real life. That when you play against these players, you think, well, they're playing 24/7. I'm only playing this. So if I give them a good game, I can go, well, you play all the time, and I don't. So this is why you're winning. Where I think I used that excuse. Now, because I didn't have that excuse, it was like, okay, I can't use this excuse anymore. If I lose, I'm losing because I'm not the better player. So again, I think it's just mindset with, again, just believe in yourself and not using things as an excuse all the time of why you're playing bad, or like using the one where I always see you're lucky. It's just luck. You win a game, oh, you're lucky. That was just, oh, this rocket, because it hit me direct in the face, killed me, and if it hadn't done it, I would have won the entire game. You get what I mean? Bad things happen in the game. You get what I mean? You have your good luck, you have your bad luck, but if you start moaning about luck, it's like everything starts going against you. You start concentrating on these little things that used to happen before, but now you're concentrating on it, and your game just goes to pot, basically. So I think in Quake Champions, I think mindset, I would say physically, probably 30–40% is your natural skill. Because I think all the top players in Quake Champions can win any tournament. I just think it's the mindset, having that mindset for the 60% being strong, not letting things annoy you, just keeping you a level head while playing, pushes you to be the champion of whatever tournament you're playing in.
So the team you were playing with for Quake Champions, and are still playing with for Blackout, is Myztro Gaming, of course. Like, you're one of the star boy of Myztro Gaming, because you were in Myztro Gaming basically from the beginning of this team that started with Quake Champions. So can you tell me a bit about the history of Myztro Gaming? Like, how did it come together? Was it yeah, I'm just quite curious regarding the creation of this team.
Okay. So basically, what was happening was, I think the $1 million tournament got announced for Quake Champ. I don't even think that was announced yet, actually. There was a bunch of friends. I've been friends with that Hell for, Jesus, 15 years. I've known Hell or whatever through playing with Dignitas, and we always said when Quake Champions comes out, we'll stick together and we'll form a team, or we'll just play and then see who picks us up. So we started playing. I was in Dignitas at the time, so I asked them if they was interested in a Quake team, and they said no, we don't really want to. We're not going into Quake Champions, blah blah blah. So it was like, okay. So I said, well, I'm going to do my own thing, and they went, okay, no problem, that's fine. You can go do your own thing. So there was, like, I think it was me, Aaron, Zachabus, and Hypno, and we started playing together. And I started streaming, and basically I used to play in a team, I don't know if you know, called ATR, All the Rage, for Quake 4 when I first started. And it's a long time, geez, it actually goes back to Painkiller. So the guy who used to play Painkiller, I know really well. He's actually the guy who made Myztro. Actually, he's the one who supports Myztro and sorts everything out. You get what I mean? Like, he's basically the investor. So I was streaming, and he just comes onto my stream and starts talking. Oh, GaRpY, what you doing? A long time. I haven't seen him for like 10 years. It must be 10 years I haven't spoken to this guy. He played Painkiller. Then he started ATR up. So then I played for ATR for I think it was a few months, and he basically owned it. Then he got married, and he moved to America. He got married. He's had kids, and I haven't seen him for 10 years. So then he just comes on my stream randomly and goes, GaRpY, what you doing in Quake Champions? I was like, oh, we're looking for we're going to see if we're going to play tournaments, see how good we are, and then hopefully we'll get picked up. And then he just went on from there. He went, what about if I invest in your team, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh mate, it's gonna cost, mate, it's ain't gonna be like a couple of thousand, it's gonna be a lot. And he's like, yeah, it's not a problem, not a problem. We'll sort it out, we'll sort it out. So basically from there it just went on. So we got talking and he was happy, and basically Myztro, we then decided the name. It was like all of like me, Aaron, and quite a few of us decided on what name we were going to call it. So basically just went on from there. So he invested in Myztro, and then we qualified for the region. Well, for the regionals, went to regionals. We actually qualified for QuakeCon, and things have just been getting better and better and better from then. Myztro in Quake, we've done great things, and I think now, like I say, the team's getting to a point where we need to branch out, you get what I mean, for the team to grow more, to become a really known esports brand, basically. But like I say, what we've achieved in Quake, well, Myztro has, it's been amazing. The support we've had from Quake, the support we've had from the Quake, everyone in Quake, is fantastic.
Absolutely. All right, so now, as you were referring to, Myztro Gaming branching out, so now into Blackout. I thought you guys have just made up a team consisting of you, Hell, and 2 other players that I hadn't seen before. So what's the story behind this? Because I'm quite curious on, especially because, as most people know now, you've decided to retire from Quake to go full in on Blackout. So how did that decision come to you?
It wasn't an easy decision because, like I say, I love Quake. It's like a big family to me. You get what I mean? All the pro players, I've seen them for so long, and we all get on amazingly. But I just think the Quake, the last few, it's just been getting to me a little bit, and I think because of how I'm getting old now, mate. I'm getting old, and where I want to actually go in esports, to do certain things, I don't think I can actually do it in Quake. So I don't know, the last few tournaments I've been to in Quake, it's like, I can explain, it was a fire inside me. So when I'd play and I'd beat someone, or I'd be getting close, I'd be like, come on, like really emotional, like I can do it, blah blah blah. But then the last couple of events I've been, and it's been like, I haven't been bothered if I've won or lost. You get what I mean? I win games, and it's like, yay, next one. You get what I mean? It's like that fire had gone. So my manager had been seeing this, and I speak to him all the time, and I've been playing Blackout in the background, and I've been really enjoying that. So he says, I think that we've been talking about branching out into BRs anyway, because BRs are massive at the moment. It's for the team to grow, you've got to have some team in a BR game, because they're just massive. So he's like, what do you think about this? And it's like, I think it could be a good move, a bit of a change, completely change from Quake, going into something fresh, and just a nice change. Like I say, I've played Quake, Jesus, how many years over the years? Probably 10 years, 15 years I've been playing Quake. So it's quite nice to have a change. I know I'm retired from Quake. I'm still going to play Quake for fun. You get what I mean? I'm still going to go. I'm going to jump around, have fun on it. I'm not playing this game ever again. I hate it. Blah blah blah. I think Quake Champions is amazing. Like I say, it's some of the memories it's given me over the last 2 years is unbelievable. Some of the best I've ever had in esports. So it's not like I've uninstalled the game. I've still got it. I'm going to play it for fun. I'm just concentrating more now on Blackout, and where that can take me, basically. So yeah, that's why I've moved. It's just I was a bit unhappy. I think I just needed the change. I just needed to go and play something different. And that's what I'm doing. And hopefully I can get good at this game now. Set my bar. I'll keep setting that bar, and I'll keep climbing.
Yeah, it's a good goal. So what I'm curious about is regarding Blackout. So because Call of Duty does have a very strong esports scene for like I'd say the past 5, like maybe I think like it's ever since I think Black Ops, no, Modern Warfare 3. I think Modern Warfare 3 is the Call of Duty where esports started to be quite strong with Call of Duty. But it's known for its 4v4 competitive game mode. The short and the close maps, search and destroys, domination, and all those game modes. So what I'm curious about, because I haven't like informed myself that much on, because I don't follow Black Ops 4 that much. But will there be an esports side of things for Blackout? Because I remember it seeing that it was going to be it was going to stick with 4v4 competitive modes. So
I know they're definitely got the 4v4 competitive side. They've already announced tournaments for that, but they're heavily pushing Blackout. I think what they're doing, there's been quite a few little. I say little tournaments. There's been some like 25 grand tournament, monthly tournaments and stuff for it already, and I know they're working towards probably making the game. This is what I was worried about with Blackout, is it's a completely different game. So it's a BR that they've made. What's going to happen when the new Call of Duty comes out? Is Blackout going to? You get what I mean? But from what I've heard in the grapevine, is Blackout's going to be a standalone game. They're actually separating it from Call of Duty, so you can actually just buy Blackout, which will be amazing, because I think a lot of the reason it's big at the moment. You've got loads of people playing it, but I think a lot of people, maybe the younger generation, it's like $60 to buy or something like that. So it's not the cheapest thing to buy. So what I've heard, they're making it separate, and it's going to be a lot cheaper to buy. I don't know, like $10 or $15 or whatever. So I think then it's going to grow. It's going to get even bigger. And then, from what I've heard, I know Activision are massive. They've got that much money, and then they've teamed up with Blizzard as well. Yeah. So I think they're going to try and get the game to where they're happy and how it's all running, and then I think they'll probably. I'm hoping they're going to try and rival Fortnite, because they've got the money to do it. So yeah, so hopefully, I think next year when the leaderboards come out and people can, because there's no leaderboards at the moment. I think it's gonna next year is going to be a big year for Blackout. I think they're going to start announcing quite a few tournaments for it. So hopefully by then I've actually got half decent and I can get there.
So what I'm curious about as well is going from Quake to Blackout, so from doing basically duels, arena FPS, to battle royale, and like there's a huge difference, you know. I mean, there are like thousands of differences between arena FPSs and battle royales, and like one of the main differences is the randomness, because in arena FPSs, items and weapons will always spawn at the same place at the same time. And it's like there's basically almost zero randomness in an arena FPS duel from Quake. But like from battle royales, there's a lot of randomness because of the size of the map, because of the fact that there's like 100 players, because of the fact that on most battle royales the location of the weapons and the different items that you pick up is quite random. It's not like always the same compared to like say the LG on Blood will always spawn at the same time at the same place. That's not the case for battle royales. So there's a lot of people like basically bitch about quite a lot with battle royales, and that it cannot be competitive. And it's interesting because there's two sides right now. There's one side basically like showing that there's interest on battle royale being competitive. Like there are people watching, there are tournaments organized, there are players motivated in taking part. But a lot of people like still see this and like don't really believe in it. I would say that battle royale cannot be an esport. So what's your take on it regarding the randomness and just generally speaking battle royale as a competitive game?
I understand where people come from, but you've still got, when you think of it like that, you've still got the same players in most tournaments always finishing in the top 50. You get what I mean? They've got to qualify, they've got to get there, but you've always still got the same players. So there's got to be not certainly, you get what I mean? I know there's randomness in the game, but you can control a lot of it, and this is why I like Call of Duty a lot better than most of the other battle royales, because some of them, say PUBG is probably the worst one I've played, where you say you run into a room, if the guy's got a gun, you're dead. You just can't do nothing about it. So, he got that weapon spawned nearer that door than the door I went into. I've got no chance. Where the nice thing with Call of Duty, because it's so fast paced and you can heal on the move, you can actually run away from most situations. So if it's bad, you can run away. It ain't like you're going to die instantly. And that was a big problem, I think, in Battle Royales before. As I said, with PUBG, if you land and you don't get the gun and the other guy's got the gun, you're pretty much you're dead. You can't run away. You can't heal on the move. You have to stop to heal. So you just constantly, well, you can't do anything. Where in Call of Duty, it's just smooth, fast paced, and I think that's why I like it a lot more, because it reminds me I can be a lot more aggressive in where most battle royales pay to camp. If you get what I mean, to hold certain places. Where with COD, Blackout, it's like you're rewarded a little bit more with being more aggressive. Like if you run into this room, you slide into this room, the guy who's actually standing in the corner is at a disadvantage because you're coming in at speed. He's standing there and you're like, oh, you're dead, mate. You know what I mean? You're standing still, I'm moving. So that's why I think I enjoy Blackout compared to most battle royales. But I can understand that, like you say, the randomness in the game, and across all battle royales. But when you've got, again, I can go back to Fortnite. Does it really matter? What makes an esports game? Surely it makes the people who are following it, the community, the money put into it, the professionalism. So I know what you're saying, the randomness of it, but that game's massive. You got $100 million year out of it. You've got what, 250,000 people watching it on Twitch at tournaments, and it's one of them. What makes an esports? It's one of them questions. It's in people's eyes, it's different things. But to me, what makes an esports game is a community that keeps the game going, that constantly play the game. The people that then watch the tournaments, the people that enter the tournaments. It can't be an esports if no one's entering into the tournaments. You know what I mean? There's nothing there. You've got the sponsors there. So to me, I know the randomness in the game, but you've still got the same top players at the top. So the randomness can't be that bad. You know what I mean? There's a way to get around the randomness. You just got to figure it out. And like I say, the randomness is only really at the start of each battle royale. You get what I mean? It's when you first drop, the randomness is. So if you can survive the first 10 minutes, you then got the base of the same weaponry, you got the same scenarios, you get what I mean, that you have at the end of the game. Because like I say, the same players are always getting to the end game. So the randomness is taken out of it then. So then it comes down to the actual skill of the player. So it's a difficult question. You know what I mean? What does make an esports? And in my eyes, it's having the community there, the prize money there, the tournaments there, and basically the viewership there. That's what makes an esports.
All right. So now for my final question, going back to Quake Champions. So entering 2019, what are your predictions? Which players do you think will be dominant? Like, what do you expect out of Quake Champions? Just because I'd imagine you'd be more on the spectating side of things now that you're focused on Blackout. So yeah, what do you think will happen in 2019?
That's well, you know, you can't rule it out because they're pretty much won everything. So you're gonna have. It depends what they're doing. Are they going to stick with 2v2? Are they actually going to release? I know capture the flags in PTS now, but are they going to release it soon or not? Are they going to go? You don't know. That's the thing with Quake. You don't actually know what they're doing next year. So if it's dual, I think you got to keep your eyes on Rafa. He's as I said, he's very mentally strong. He's like unbelievable how he thinks around things, how he gets people to play his game. So he's always going to be one to watch up there playing it and being in most finals, I think. Again, you've got I don't know, there's an handful of players that seem to. Avec, if he carries on playing, he played amazing at DreamHack. DreamHack Winter, he was on fire. Same as Cypher's been doing great things as well. All these players, but I think it's if you get what I mean. The last patch on Quake Champions has made the game more like Quake Live. This was another thing why I wasn't you get what I mean. I didn't like the last patch because it's going away from the abilities. It's going more towards that, and I think it kind of proves that the game's going more towards that, because the last tournament you've had all the hardcore. You got the Rafa, you got the Cooler, you got the Avec, you got the Cypher, you got Agent was dominant in Quake Live. He did really well at Winter as well, because the last patch suits more of the Quake 3, Quake Live player, and then the people who adapted to abilities and that seem to fall off a lot because their skill set isn't aim and control. You get what I mean? It's and I think the game's going more towards that, which I didn't like as well. So if the game stays as it is, I think you're going to start seeing more of the Quake 3 old school Quake 3 or Quake Live players being more at the top for next year. And again, in the team modes, again, you got to look out when you got Rafa and Dahang together. They've got to be the best two communicators. Again, it shows that they've got decent aim. They're not got the best aim in the game. They're not known for their aim, but the comms and the team play is just outstanding. So whatever team they ever play in for Capture the Flag, TDM, whatever, they're going to be strong. So other than that, I'm sure if it goes 4v4, Myztro will be another team to look out for with the players we've got. And again, but I don't know what's happening. We don't know if it is going capture. So we just don't know what it is. Are they going to keep 2v2 for another year? I thought 2v2 went down really well with the community. It was easy to follow. It was really fun to watch. But again, Duel, I think it still had more viewers on Duel. So are they going to just have a Duel year? You just don't know. Like I said, they've not announced the roadmap for it. But like I say, in the current patch, I think all the old school Quakers, Quake Live, you need to watch out for them players in this current patch, because they're all going to do really well.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, man. It was a pleasure doing this interview. So just before we wrap things up, do you have any special thanks or something you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Myztro for being amazing. The guy, our investor, is fantastic. All the support he gives us. The manager, Nigel Apex, he does a fantastic job. He works his row out. I do give him some grief for not actually doing anything, and he just sits at home. But I know he works hard. And basically, yeah, just all our sponsors. Just thank you for the support, and to Quake as well. Quake's been amazing, and for, like I say, giving me some of the best memories I've had in esports has come from Quake. So, like I say, my heart's with Half-Life, but Quake is very close second to it. So I just thank you to everyone in the community. Just thank you for all the support, and it's been amazing.